Everyone. Welcome to Fabric Sundays. This Fabric Sundays is organized by the Winnipeg Fabric and Power BI user group in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And this program will be an every Sunday affair, except Sundays where we want to go on probably a short break or we have something else to do. But we would everly explore Microsoft Fabric on Sundays and just 1 hour, 7 to 8 p.m. on Sundays. So today's class being the first class, we are going to, it's just for us to introduce Microsoft Fabric, and it's a bit more of a basic class anyway, an introductory class, just introduce Fabric and we'll just understand what Fabric entails, and we'll see some of the different components, that makes up Microsoft Fabric. And we are going to, just go with the flow and take it from the simple to something more advanced. And we are going to go. So for one to actually navigate Microsoft Fabric very well, I'll start by saying that it will be ideal to have some knowledge of Microsoft Power BI for a start. Have knowledge of Microsoft Power BI, know that. Also, your knowledge of writing SQL queries will really go a long way also, right? In being able to navigate Microsoft Fabric. Also, knowledge of Python and PySpark will also go a long way in helping you to navigate Microsoft Fabric, right? One thing that I will require from us is for us to always be punctual to class. It's just 1 hour, and I'm making sure that you are going to be time conscious. It will not pass the 1 hour at any time, no matter how intensive the class is, right? And also, if we come early, we will to also finish as early as possible. Um, Another thing I will also say is that our knowledge of Power Query will also go a long way in helping us to navigate Microsoft Fabric better. The only downside to things is that unlike the Microsoft Power BI desktop, that even if you don't have license, you will still be able to use that and do a lot of stuff. The only challenge here is that for Microsoft Fabric, for you to be able to practice, you probably need like a trial account, right? Or you have a working account, probably an office account, an official account, or license from your office that you can use, to practice and create simple workloads, just for you to be able to master some of the different components of Microsoft Fabric. Yeah. So, as we all know that before the advent of Fabric, there were different platforms, right? And these different platforms, we have like the Azure platform, we have the Azure Data Factory, we have the Synapse, we have Azure Data Lake Gen 2, and all of those different components, right? For data engineers, for example, when they want to work on something, they have to, be moving data from one place to another, moving data from one platform to another for them to be able to, do a lot of, a lot of their workloads, a lot of their processes that refine the data to be used for analytics. I mean, when they are creating their data warehouse and all of those things, right? So, but the good thing about Fabric is that Fabric has come to really change the status quo in terms of, imagine having that unified platform, right? Where all data professionals can now collaborate, right? It means that on the same platform, you can do your engineering, you can do your data warehousing, you can do your data integration, you can do your real-time intelligence, you can do even data science work like machine learning and all of those things, right? Even your business intelligence, right? So you can imagine being able to do all of those things inside of one unified platform. That is very, very interesting thing about Microsoft Fabric. So all data professionals can work from the same platform. We don't have to have different platforms, and we don't have it removes that stress of migrating data from one place to another to be able to complete a BI cycle, right? So Microsoft Fabric is that end-to-end analytics platform that provides a single integrated environment for data professionals and business to also collaborate on data projects. So it means that whether you're a data engineer, you are a BI developer, you are a business analyst, you are a data analyst, you are a data scientist, right? Whatever position you hold, even data governance analyst or data governance specialist, right? We can all work together on the same unified analytics platform, right? So Microsoft Fabric provides that set of integrated services that enable you to ingest, right? When we mean data ingestion, it means like we are extracting data from different places and bringing it in the Fabric environment, right? We'll store the data, we'll process the data, we analyze the data. Imagine being able to do that in one single environment. I mean, that's something very, very interesting, right? So Microsoft Fabric provides the tools for both citizen and professional data practitioner. What does that mean? It means that those that are not actually, so it means that whether you are a core technical person, right, or you are not a core technical person, right, anybody can navigate and use the Fabric environment to work, right? And also we can integrate a lot of other tools, that the business needs to make decisions. So Fabric entails the following. We have data engineering, we have data integration, we have data warehousing, we have data real-time intelligence. That is we are still going to go into that. That's when we talk about IoT devices, right? We have data science for machine learning workloads and all, right? And we have business intelligence, which is the area that most of us are at the moment. With Microsoft Fabric, you can uh, when you know how to use Microsoft Fabric to do a lot of engineering, BI, warehousing workload, then you can call yourself either a Microsoft Fabric analytics engineer or a Microsoft Fabric data engineer. So it depends on the context of your work or your job role, will determine whatever job title you are going to, attach to your profile, right? That is just it. Also, the wonderful thing again about Fabric is that you can integrate co-pilots. You can what? Integrate co-pilots to Microsoft Fabric. It is that AI assistant that helps us to enhance our productivity, right? Across all our workloads, right? And it has that natural language. You can do SQL conversion, automated insights, contextual assistance, and all of those things. So this is the DP600 the Microsoft Learn page. So I would advise that you just go to this page and do a little digging to Microsoft. So I mean, for a start, depends on you. Though you can either read because you want to write an exam, or you can read for knowledge at first. I mean, read to just get the knowledge at first, to understand the basics, to understand the different components. Then probably later on, when you are comfortable with using the platform, then you can go ahead with writing the exam, right? What I will tell you is that your knowledge of Power BI, goes a long way. Knowledge of Power BI, SQL, Python, and all of those things, it really goes a long way, you know, uh, to make the navigation of Microsoft Fabric easy for you, right? Now, another concept that we must also define, and before we go into talking about OneLake, OneLake is the native storage for Microsoft Fabric. Now, before we go into that, know that Microsoft Fabric is a software as a service platform. We have what we call infrastructure as a service. We have what we call what's it called? The software as a service, and there's platform as a service. right? So Fabric is a unified software as a service platform. It is all the data can be stored in a single open format in OneLake. So OneLake is that storage, the storage, how will I put it? The storage, is we call it a storage system or the storage engine from Microsoft Fabric. So when you hear OneLake, when you hear OneLake, it means that all the data that you integrate inside of the Fabric environment, all those data, they are being stored on OneLake. Whether you are in the warehouse environment, whether you are in the Lakehouse environment, whether you are in your semantic model environment, anywhere you are, right, inside of Microsoft Fabric, every data integrated inside of Fabric, the storage system underneath that is OneLake. So we have to know that. So from what we have here, OneLake is a centralized data storage architecture that enables collaboration by eliminating the need to move or copy data between systems, right? OneLake unifies your data warehouse, your data across regions and clouds into a single logical lake without moving or duplicating data. That is that you can have your data centralized, right, in a particular place without you having to migrate or move data from one place to another. Now, OneLake is built on the Azure Data Lake storage. Now, for those of us that have already just hearing Azure Data Lake before, so Azure Data Lake storage is that storage system where you can store both structured and unstructured data, right? OneLake is built on ADLS. So it supports different formats of uh, data, whether it is Delta, whether it is a packet or your CSV or JSON, right? It supports all these different kind of formats, right? So for example, now I can ingest my CSV file or my CSV data inside of my Fabric environment, right? I can also ingest a data that is already clean, like a well-structured data, rows and columns. On the same Fabric, I can also ingest a data like your picture, your audio. I can do all of those things, like different kind of formats of different kind of file formats I can upload or ingest inside of my Fabric environment. So the way the OneLake is built on Azure Data Log Storage that supports the main point here is that it supports both structured and unstructured data, right? All compute engines in Fabric automatically store their data in OneLake, right? I said that before. That no matter the experience that you are in, all the data that you are ingesting inside of Fabric, they are being stored on OneLake, right? Making it directly accessible without the need to move or duplicate. For tabular data, analytical engines in Fabric write data in data packet formats, and all engines interact with the format seamlessly. We are still going to go into more details about data packet format later, so I can explain better what that even means, right? Now, when it comes to shortcuts, there are some companies, there's some organizations that already have their data stored in different platforms already. Like they already using some platforms like your AWS. They already have some of their stuff inside of Azure, Azure Synapse and all of those things. Azure Data Lake, Gen 2, all those storages, all these different storage environments. So they already have their stuff stored in the AWS, GCP, and all those other vendors that are not Microsoft, right? With the flexibility of using shortcuts inside of Microsoft Fabric, you can actually reference all of this data that are stored in these different external locations or external storage. You can use shortcuts to reference those data. And the good thing is that when you use shortcuts to actually ingest data into the Fabric environment, you are not physically moving the data from its actual storage or location. You are just referencing it. You are only seeing a copy of that data inside of the Fabric environment, right? Shortcuts ensure data consistency and enable Fabric to stay in sync with the source. So the data stays at the source. You are only shortcutting to copy the data as it is in the source, right? As it is in the source. As it is in the source. That is what it is, right? If you look at the diagram on the screen, you will see here that data can be mirrored from your Azure SQL database and more other data sources that is coming soon here. If you look at the Fabric architecture here, you will see data factory, right? We have what we call Azure Data Factory for data ingestion, data integration, and for moving data from the source to the destinations, right? The Microsoft the Fabric Data Factory, on the other hand, also does the same thing like the Azure Data Factory, right? You can use that to do your ETL or ALT, you know. So the data factory part of Microsoft Fabric and the data engineering part of Microsoft Fabric, they use what is called Spark. Spark is the Apache Spark is the engine at the back end that is helping us to be able to do the engineering workload. That is helping us to be able to do the uh, all the data injection, uh, all the pipelines and all those things that we do, right? All the notebooks, the PySpark, all of those transformations that we do and the rest. It is Apache Spark is the that's backend engine that is allowing for that big data processing, right? Um, Another good thing is that for data warehousing parts, we can write your transact SQL. That is our SQL queries to actually interact with the data, right? The way you do your normal select star from where this, case when this, you do your cities and all of that. You can also do that, in the data warehousing part of Microsoft Fabric. That's what you see here, right? Real-time intelligence, you use what is called coastal query language. SQL is structured query language. You have coastal query language, which is KQL, for real-time intelligence. So imagine that you have an IoT device that brings in data at a near real time, at near real time, right? KQL is that query language that we use to interact with such data, right? At the back end of Power BI, what is actually making us to be able to analyze data inside of Power BI is the analysis services, right? It is the one that is working at the back end of Power BI that is allowing us to be able to use Power BI to do all of the analysis that we do, right? You see OneLake here in the middle that's uh, is the native storage system for the Microsoft Fabric environment, right? Okay, is there any questions so far? Before we go ahead?
Oh,
Okay. So just like we have inside of Microsoft Power BI, we have workspaces, right? And in our workspaces is where we have our reports, our semantic model, our data flow, all of our Power BI stuff are being stored in the workspace. Just like that. That's the same way we also have Fabric workspaces. And the Fabric work is what you will find is your Power BI report, your semantic model, your data warehouse, your lake house, your notebooks, your pipelines. Um, what Fabric item again do we have? All of the Fabric stuff that you do, you'll find them inside of the Fabric workspace. And the good thing is that just the way we can apply security inside of just the way we can apply security inside of uh Microsoft Power BI workspace. The same thing we can also do to, Fabric workspace too. It gets what we call item level permissions. It means that you can restrict people from seeing all the elements that you have inside of your Fabric workspace. and limit it to some particular items. We are still going to get into that area. We are still going to get to that area where people can have read access, share access, write access, and all of those things to the different elements that you have inside of your Fabric workspace, right? So the Fabric workspace, we can control access, we can determine who sees what is their level of permission. And another good thing about Microsoft Fabric workspaces is that you can even integrate Git for version control. I'm telling you, I've done that before. It's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting. Imagine being able to track changes, being able to track changes. We are still going to do, by the time we get to some later part of this fabrics on this, we are still going to do what is called version control with Git. We are going to be using Git, GitHub, Visual Studio Code, Microsoft Fabric, and Power BI desktop also, right? And Power BI projects file, the PBIP. So if you watch some of my videos on my YouTube, and some of the ones I posted on LinkedIn, on LinkedIn, yeah, and also on the what's it called? On the group, on the WhatsApp group, you will see that I posted a video recently on a demo I did on version control with Git and GitHub and all of those things. So it's a very interesting one. So I advise you just watch it for now. Whether you understand it now or not, just try to watch that video. By the time we come back to the real stuff, when we start doing the real workload stuff, then you will see how interesting that thing is, and you will see the usefulness of it. When you will see now you will see that 3 4 Power BI developers can work on one particular file at the same time, and everybody's going to be making changes at the same time, committing their changes. There's even a data governance part of things where they can even control who commits the changes and all. And I mean, if he said there's a lot of interesting things to learn. I'm telling you. And for those of us that have been really scared of learning engineering before, it's not as if we are scared anyway, but we see it as very enormous. I think with the advent of Microsoft Fabric, we really, to some extent, increase our confidence level. We feel more comfortable, and probably it will be a time for us to elevate. I mean, when I mean elevate our career and it elevates, ourselves. So we are not just going to be, a Power BI developer for long. We're not just going to be the dashboard guy, you know, we're always building that report and dashboard. It's time for us to actually upgrade, elevate our skills beyond report, dashboard. It's time for us to now become analytics engineer, right? That is, we can do end to end now, right? That is, we can be the one to integrate the data, we can be the one to transform the data, we can be the one to create a data warehouse where we store the data, or create a lake house. We can be the one to create a semantic model from there and do a lot of SQL stuff. And we are going to still be the same person that is going to now build the report and dashboard from there. You will now see that by the time we attend this class regularly and we explore a lot of topics, right? You will now see that you will now appreciate data more. You will now appreciate data engineers more than before. By the time you see the kind of stuff that we are going to be talking about, they are going to be very in depth. But I promise you, they are going to be at the same time very interesting, right? Also, there is the administration and the governance part of things when it comes to Microsoft Fabric. That is giving permissions, granting permissions, revoking permissions, limiting who can see what, all of those things. And in Fabric Workspace, just like we have in Power BI, you also see things like your admin. I want to start with remind me of some of those workspace membership type. I know we have admin, we have member, we have contributor, and we also have, what's the last one? Contributor, member, admin, and viewer. Yeah, viewer is the least privilege. Viewer. Okay. So let's talk about traditional roles and challenges, right? So in traditional analytics development process, data teams often face several challenges due to the division of data tasks and workflows. So for data engineers, for example, what they do is that they process and correct data for data analysts, right? We then as data analysts now use that report, that data rather, sorry, to now create our own report from there, right? So this process usually requires that extensive coordination, often leading to delays and misinterpretations of things. Now, data analysts, on the other hand, often need to perform downstream transfer. So, and you see that, I think that the problem that we usually have is that data engineers usually give us data. They just provision data for us. But at the end of the day, you see that Power BI developers or data analysts, they usually still do a lot of transformations. Data is not perfect, it's not still structured well the way you need it to be, You see a lot of like corrections, a lot of like transformations that still needs to go after you've even gotten the data, access to the data. So, but with Microsoft Fabric now, it simplifies this. It makes this make this more simpler because now on one particular platform, you can have all of the data ingested, have it transformed inside the same platform. You are connecting to the same data inside of the same platform. You are creating your models inside of the same platform. I mean, imagine how interesting that could be, right? So sometimes data analysts often have to do downstream transformations in creating Power BI reports. So this process is time consuming and well, imagine that with the advent of Fabric now, all transformations have been done, everything has been well structured, you have your semantic model. All the Power BI person needs to do is just to plug in into the not the tables, plug into the semantic model. You know, the person will plug in into the semantic model and just start building report from there. Like makes it very, very easy, right? Okay. So please can you mute yourself, please, if you are in a noisy place? Okay. So data scientists also face difficulties, integrating native data science techniques with existing systems, which are often complex and makes it challenging, right? Sufficiently provide data-driven insights. Okay, the evolution of collaborative workflow. So with Microsoft Fabric now, it has now simplified the process. Now, data engineers can now ingest data, transform, and load data directly inside of OneLake. Very easy using pipelines. Don't worry, we'll get there. Analytics engineers, they are the ones that bridge the gap. Okay, let me ask all of us quick question, and I want us to actually respond. So, before now, do you usually think that there's a difference between a data engineer and an analytics engineer? What do you think, guys? I mean, before now, do you always think they are the same? Or in your own opinion, what do you think the two of them are? And are they different? I'm waiting. Data engineer and analytics engineer. In your opinion, how are they different from each other? And do they to some extent have some similarities at all? Exactly.
But I always thought data engineer and analytics engineer they are different because the data engineer has to do with building and maintaining the pipelines and infrastructure, while
Okay.
analytics has more to do with transformation.
Has to do more of transformations. Okay. 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 That's a good one. You are getting there. You are close. You're getting there. You're getting there. Okay. You are very correct. So data engineers usually deal more with the pipelines and the infrastructure. So in fact, there's some data engineers that they even call them data platform engineers. Those ones sometimes they don't even need to know about the business at all or have an idea. All they are concerned about is setting up all the infrastructure that will be those infrastructure those infrastructures is what we are now using to create all the workloads. So they are correct. Infrastructure and pipelines. Yes. I also want to hear from Mr. Diron. I have somebody called Wale here and Coco. Data engineer and analytics engineer. How do you think they are different?
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of data engineer before.
Okay.
Data engineer is like it has rightly said, the transformations, the storing, how you store your data,
Yeah.
how you also get data from different sources.
Mm-hmm.
You have that data infrastructure so that every other member of the team can use the data, be it a data analyst, data scientist, and all the rest. But for analytics engineers, to be sincere, this is the first time I'm going to heard about analytics
Data
engineer.
engineer. Okay.
So I've heard about analytics, data analytics, and all that before, but today is
Analytics
the
engineer.
first.
Okay.
So today is the first day I'm going to be hearing about analytics.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your sincerity, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, Coco and Wale.
I'm similar to the last person that spoke. I've not heard analytics engineer before, but
Okay.
just by the name, I can tell that the difference is maybe the analytics person is probably transforming the data sets to be business ready. So maybe the person may need to have some business background in the company they're in. Then the data engineer basically designs and maintains the ETL process and the pipelines and infrastructure.
Mm, mm, mm. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, what about Wale? Is Wale here with us? Okay, let's go ahead. So let's break down these different job roles so that all of us can understand the differences between them.
Hello?
So,
Hello?
hello.
Yeah, this is Wale.
Okay, well done, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
I'm new here.
Okay.
I was somebody introduced this class to me. His name is Taiwo Yusuf.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Are
So
you new to Microsoft Power BI also?
I will say I'm new because I'm not an expert.
But you have some
I've
basic
been
idea
struggling with it
of
for
Power
some
BI.
times. Yeah, as a BI, as a business intelligence and tool,
Okay. Do you use that in your daily work,
analyze data.
or you just have knowledge about it?
No, I don't use it in daily work.
Okay. 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 So what I would recommend for you, sir, is that we usually have a
I'm just coming up to be one.
okay. So we usually have a Power BI class every Saturday, 9 to 10. And it's for pure beginners. Although we've done like 3 classes anyway, but you can still join us. I think that will actually boost your confidence more. So by the time
Oh, thank
your
you.
Power BI knowledge is at least intermediate, then uh well, I'm not discouraging you from joining the Fabric class anyway. I've seen people that are doing data engineering and they've never learned Power BI or do all the dashboard stuff before. So it doesn't matter. It just depends on how well you can cope with the whole things that we're going
Yeah.
to be doing here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
Actually, yeah, I will appreciate to join the Power BI class.
Yes.
Though at
Yes.
least the fundamentals of the Power BI, I
Yeah.
think I still know little. At least I'm a
Okay.
bit familiar with the data cleaning by using a Power Query.
Power query. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
To
Okay.
to clean the data, then from there you transform you close and transform the data,
Okay.
take it
Okay.
to the Power BI itself. So
Okay. Okay.
we do visualization and data modeling also.
Okay.
So at least I can maybe one or two things, though I'm not that good. I will
Okay.
still classify myself as a beginner.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Okay.
So
Thank you,
that's
sir.
number one. Then with what you are saying, sorry to cut you short, sir.
Yeah.
what you are saying about the data engineering is like
Yeah.
when you are doing a data modeling in Power BI, you are a
Yeah.
baby. But when it comes to data engineering, they are the modelers. They are the
Mm.
one that using the ETL, so to speak,
Okay.
transform and extract, transform and load. Then do the
Mm.
pipeline and all that. So
Mm.
it's the job of the way I see it, the job of the data engineers are overwhelming, and they are it's dynamic,
Mm.
and it's very broad
Yeah.
compared to other aspects of IT job
Mm.
like data analyst and all of that.
Yeah.
So I have not heard anything about the other engineering you're talking about. So though I have
Okay.
heard something about Fabric, but I'm not so familiar with it, or let me say, I've not even laid my hand on it at all. So
Okay.
this will be an opportunity for me to learn better, to
Okay.
familiarize myself with it.
Okay. No
Thank you
problem,
very
sir.
much for giving me the opportunity
No,
to join.
no problem, sir. Welcome, sir. Are you in Canada, sir?
I'm not in Canada. I'm speaking
Oh,
from US. I
you are
joined
from
from US.
US.
Yes.
Okay. That's good. Thank you for joining also. No problem, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, before we go ahead, guys, I have an assignment for us. And you see, let me just say this before I go ahead with it. I'm going to show you some fabric stuff now before we end the class today. So next week Sunday we are starting proper. Like we are going to create our Lakehouse. We're starting with Lakehouse next week. We are going to be creating Lakehouse. We are going to be ingesting data inside of Lakehouse. We are going to create a semantic model from there. We are going to use PySpark in Fabric Notebook to run transformations, right? I'll show you Spark SQL. It's just your SQL, but just some small differences, right? I'm going to show you SQL analytics endpoints. You're going to go through all of those things, right? Now, let me just reiterate again to everyone that is here, and for those that will still listening to this video and will still join us later. This is a very serious class, right? We had some classes last year for Power BI. When we started, we were like 14. At the end of the day, the people that actually stayed to the end of the class, they were even less than 4. And to God be the glory. One of them is here, and he passed his PO 300. He was very consistent.
Mm.
It was few times that he missed class. Few times that he missed class. But some of the things that did not really make me happy is the fact that it was looking as if some people we were forcing them to come to class. That was really frustrating. I mean, somebody will come and impart knowledge to share what they know as far as they know. And people won't come to class on time. Some people will even call them to ask them, why didn't you come to class today? But for Microsoft Fabric, I've based on my mind that this year, I'm not begging anybody to come to class. All those ones that stopped last year. Even if it's one person. You see that today it was only Mr. Akinloye that was there, and I didn't care. I started a class like that. Even if I didn't see anybody, I'll just teach and I will leave. I'll use the 1 hour, I will go. You know, maybe because it's Winnipeg, I don't know why it's like that. I'm not trying to talk to anybody here, but I'm just talking generally, right? That if you have the skills, if you know the stuff, it's for your own benefits. When you know the stuff and use the stuff to get a good job, it's not for me, it's for you. I won't tell you to give me your salary. Do we understand, guys? It's for us, right? At the end of the day, the whole thing will still benefit us at the end of the day. So this is not Power BI class. This is Fabric. We need to take it as serious as possible. When we are given assignments to go to do, it's for the sake of knowledge. The more we know, the more we are confident. The more we have, some confidence in what we are doing. And The more we know, the more it's easier for us to navigate interviews. It's easier for us to negotiate better salaries because of the skill, because of the skill, right? So let's take this very, very serious, more than the way we did last year. Last year performance is not really good. It's not really good. I expect some level of maturity, some level of changes this year, better than last year. So this class will involve a lot of assignments. I'm not going to be spoon feeding anybody. I will show you as much as I can. But the truth of the matter is that if you don't do the extra work, there's nothing I can do about it. The community is not a tech academy. It's not a what's it called? It's not a paid platform. The community is a community. We come together on Sundays like this. We share knowledge. We contribute. People make comments. They ask questions. We share ideas. You can even argue. We argue intelligent arguments. Oh no, it's like no. It's not like that. And this is my point. I think we have things like that in the last 5 year class we had, and it was interesting. Times I will go back and I will argue, and I will go back and say, what the person said was actually was actually correct. So, you know, because sometimes some of us might be carrying info that is outdated, and we might not even know until somebody now comes and tell us that yes, the info you gave is not actually correct anymore. This is the new updates to things, right? So let's take it more serious. Let's contribute. When I call your name, please answer. All those simple things, so that the trainer too will not be frustrated and say, and I ask them in class, they don't talk, everybody is silent. I want that high level of contribution. Okay, we have a new person now. We have Timmy. Okay, so this is I was calling it a little assignment for next week. Let's go and read about the difference between ETL and ELT. I put that in the chat section, right? And next week Sunday, I'll expect that you guys should. I ask you before we start the class at all. The first thing I will ask you is about the assignment, about ELT and ETL, right? We're also going to be discussing a lot of stuff in this class. In fact, we will touch base on some things on Azure, especially Azure Data Factory, and we are going to go a little, to talk about Azure Synapse, Azure Data Lake Storage, and we'll now try and do some comparison between the Fabric environment and what we have in Azure, right? Whether you have Azure knowledge or not, it doesn't matter. Some things you just understand theoretically for now, and later you get to see the practical. Okay, so for those that say they do not know what is an analytics engineer, I'm going to explain the difference between the AE and a DE. A data engineer is that person that will ingest the data, is that person that will transform the data and load directly into OneLake, right? Using pipelines. The person will automate the workflow and support scheduling. You know what scheduling means, right? When you schedule your pipelines, that okay, at a particular time of the day, your pipeline should run, right? So it means that new data that are being ingested, they will pass through the transformations based on the activities that you have inside of your pipeline. Right. So we are still going to get to pipeline when we are going to talk about different things. But I have a lot of things that we're talking about. In the pipeline part, we are talking about copy data, parameters, variables, expressions, if condition for each lookup. It's going to be very, very intensive, right? Okay. And how you can optimize your data pipelines, right? So data engineer is that person that builds the pipeline that supports scheduling, right? They can store data in lake houses. I mean, they can ingest data into Fabric Lakehouse using the data package format for efficient storage and versioning, right? Sometimes they are the ones that will create a new notebook and write all the PySpark, all the Spark SQL, all the Scalar, all your any of the program languages that you are comfortable with for transformations. They are the ones that will do all of the transformations in using notebooks, right? So they do all the high capacity workloads is what the data engineer does. Now for analytics engineers, right? Those guys are the ones that bridge that gap in between a data engineer and the person doing the analysis part of the job, right? Of the cycle, right? What they do is that they create data asset from lakehouses. What they do is that they ensure data quality, right? And they enable self-service. So when we say self-service, so now we have co-pilots inside of Microsoft Fabric. We have inside of Power BI, we have what we call the Q&A feature that uses natural language. That means that you can ask the data, your data questions, it can answer you. In fact, there's one thing that they now call model model context protocol, integrating like both LLM and and AI agents, right? So actually, do something on your behalf. In fact, in this class, we are going to do GitHub Copilot when we start to talk about CI/CD, version control, and all of those things like Azure DevOps pipelines and all. We are going to really go into so self-service analytics, right? And the core part of the work of an analytics engineer is building of semantic model, right? So a data engineer might be able to do all the data injection, create the tables, make it go through transformations and all. But the AE, just like who said, was it Coco that said that because they are more close to the business, right? And they are the one bridging the gap between the DE and the DA. So what they do more is they focus more on the semantic model. They are the ones that build the models that data analysts will now use to create their reports, right? Because semantic models are built based on business use case. They are built based on the context of the requirements from the business, right? And they are also sometimes built based on uh, mm, business requirements, different use cases, and the kind of metrics and KPIs that the business wants to see inside of the report or the dashboard, right? Determine the kind of thematic model that you will see the AE guys will build, right? So data analysts can transform data also using data flow. So one thing about Fabric environment is that whether you are a low code person, I mean, someone that does not want to do all the Python or the programming stuff, right? That's why we have data flow gen 2. That gives you that Spark query experience, just like what you have inside of your Power BI desktop or your Excel or your SSAS and all those platforms. To give you that same experience, right? As is a low code is a low code experience part of Fabric where you can ingest data and do your, just like the way you do your Power Query transformations, right? Um, a data analyst, as you know, can create reports, with Power BI. Data scientists are the ones that do all the machine learning stuff. They use Python and Spark to build and test machine learning models and all. Before we go today, let me see what other things we have in this module. So before you can start using Microsoft Fabric, right? If your company is still using Microsoft Power BI, whether Pro or Premium license, so there are three ways you can actually enable Microsoft Fabric in your organization. So you can, for example, I can go to what is called the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, right? Admin Center. I'm going to log in into 365 Admin Portal. Let me log in. Should I use this my account? Let me use this one. Let me try and use this one first. If it doesn't work, then I use the other one. This have admin portal. Oh, let me go back and let me sign in with this my account here. This is my password. Let me try. Okay, good. Oh, sorry guys, it's asking me for um okay. Okay. So this is the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. This is the way it looks like, right? When a new person joins a company and they are trying to create an account for the person, This is where they do all those stuff. They create an email for you, assign you as a user, assign some licenses to you as a user, right? So on the admin center, you can go to where is that? Is it show all? And you can go to, so for example, there are different users here so it's something that I created an account for. Okay, so this is me, for example, right? I can go to these three dots here and click on manage product licenses. And when I do that, I will see different different apps that I can use. And although you might not see it here, but on the list here, your list of admin person will go here and check box Microsoft Fabric for you here on this list. What I have here is Microsoft. I have the Power BI Pro. There's nothing like Fabric here. I have Power Apps, Automate, and all, and every other application I can use. So this is one of the platforms where your 3 admin person can do, can create or can assign Fabric to you as a user, right? By clicking on your name and assigning the product to you and saving the changes. That's one way. Another way is by going to the Power BI admin portal. Let me see if I can go there from here. The Power BI admin portal is here. Yes. The Power BI admin portal coming. Okay. So there's a path in the Power BI admin portal that you go to and you enable Fabric in the Power BI admin portal. I don't know why this is not coming up. Also done for me, guys. Sorry. Oh, it's still loading. But this is not the way it shows anyway. No, I'm coming. Power BI settings, no. I'm coming. Power BI admin portal is where it should be. Well, let me check another. Let me use another browser to log in another one. App.powerbi.com. Okay, let me just try this my account here. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'll go to my settings here. Admin portal. Why is it showing the same thing now? Okay, I'm coming. Let me just type it. Power BI admin portal. And also, we can also use the Power Platform portal too, admin portal too. So on those 3 places are where you can actually enable, what's it called? You can enable Fabric. I'm sorry, guys, so that we don't waste time. I'm going to show you that maybe next Sunday. Okay, let me just close this. I will have showed you how to enable Fabric on your Power BI admin portal. So those 3 places are the places you can do. You can do that. Fabric admin, formerly known as Power BI admin portal, the platform admin center, and the Microsoft 365 admin center. Those are 3 places that you can. So you see the way. So this is the way it should appear. And you go to the tenant settings and you just enable users can create Fabric items. You enable this and you apply, right? So that's the way it should work. But I don't know why it's not coming up that way. Before we go anyway, because I said we'll have to, be doing things, we have to close on time and everything. So this is the Power BI experience that you all know, right? Now, by the time your companies enable Fabric for you, right? In fact, let me show you. There's a page that I'm going to show you that has all the Fabric licenses capacity. Yeah. So when it comes to Fabric, there's what we call SKU. Okay, Microsoft Fabric pricing. Yeah. There's what we call SKU. Aha, this is what I'm going to see. Also, the SKU will determine the capacity. So for F2 capacity now, the capacity unit is 2, and this is the amount you pay estimated, depending on the kind of workload that you want to do on your Microsoft Fabric. But for you to be able to use Microsoft Power BI as part of your Fabric capacity and SKU, you need to at least have F64, because you might see them asking you this in the exam, right? You say that it's Fabric is expensive. I don't like to you, but Azure is more expensive anyway. Then it is easier in Fabric to estimate the cost of what your engineering and BI workload is going to look like in terms of, but it's not easy like that to estimate in Azure because of the the kind of the pricing model is different, right? So I put it in this is in Canadian dollar. You can change it to USD or any other what's it called, to estimate what the pricing looks like. So for you to have at least, use a pro license inside of Power BI, you need at least an F64 SKU, right? Okay, so let me go back now. So this is the Power BI experience. All you can see here is just all you'll be able to do here is just the Power BI stuff, right? But when I change this now to the Fabric experience here, you will see that the interface is different. So look at how the tool looks like. I go back to Power BI, you see the interface, you see that it's different now. Now, by the time I go back to the Fabric experience, it's different. So this is the Fabric experience now. You see that it's different, right? Now, there's what we call OneLake catalog. Then what lake catalog that you see here is where you're going to see all your Fabric stuff, right? Your semantic model, your lake houses, you will see them here, your warehouse, all those things that you are doing, your SQL analysis endpoints, everything, all your Fabric items, they are going to be on OneLake catalog. So this is your OneLake catalog here. This is a tab here, right? And I go back to my home, I will see you can from here create a new workspace. Like I create a new workspace now. I give it a name and I go to the advanced part of things here. I can assign the license mode to be pro, trial, premium per user, and all of those. I cannot do Fabric capacity because I'm using a trial account, right? So I might not be able to do some advanced stuff. But you see that you can even choose your own semantic model storage formats, whether you want more semantic model storage format or large semantic model storage format. So it depends, right? And if I go to, I have some workspaces here. In my workspace here, you see, I think I have this demo one. So when I open the workspace, in your Power BI workspace, the only thing that you will see there in the Power BI workspace is your semantic model and your report. By the time you publish your Power BI report to workspace, what you will see there is your semantic model and your reports, and probably your data flow, right? But in Fabric Workspace, you will see a lot of items, Fabric items. You will see the semantic model, you will see your data flow, you will see lake houses, you will see your notebook, your pipelines, and I even created an SQL database. Yes, I created an SQL database inside of the Fabric environment. You see that also. So there's a lot of things that you can create inside of the workspace. So if I go to new item here now, you will see a lot of things that I can do. Copy data flow gen 2, event stream, data flow gen 1, Azure Databricks catalog. You will see Cosmos DB, event else, schematic model, and a whole lot. If you scroll down and scroll down and scroll down, you will see a whole lot of items that you can create inside of your Microsoft Fabric workspace, right? So I'm going to just show you one thing, then we close the class for today. I'm going to show you, yeah, we are getting the recording of the class, Timmy. Yes, you are getting the class recording to be on YouTube. Okay. If you look at the Lakehouse 101 that I created here, I'm going to open the Lakehouse for you to see. I'm going to create the Lakehouse for you to see. Create the Lakehouse for you to see. In my Lakehouse, you see this file section and the table section, right? Now, the file section is that section where you can store your, what do we call it? Your structured data and unstructured data, right? Your structured data and what? Your unstructured data, right? So this file section here, you can ingest data so this data that I ingested here, This one is shortcuts. I ingested this one from Azure Data Lake Storage. And the other one you are seeing here is just a CSV file that I uploaded, right? And I did some transformations here. If you see, if I go back to my website, you see a notebook, right? Where I did all this. So let me just quickly show you that before we go. Let me go back to my workspace. And I'm going to show you my notebook. I have a notebook here called Notebook 10. Is it this notebook 102? Let me show this is notebook. So this is where I did all my transformations, I did PySpark to transform the data and load it to another destination. Yeah. So this is all this PySpark stuff that I did here to transform the data, right? This is where I created the data frame that will read the data, display the data here, check my data types. What did I even do here, Seth? I concatenated two columns, last name and first name to create just one column, to have full name column, right? What did I do in this place here? I imported a new library here, and I created the bet year. Yeah, the bet year. Yeah, I created the bet year column for all the customers on this table, on the inside of this table. What did I do in this part? I created a conditional column here, and also in this one, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? I think I created like a conditional column also on this one, right? And also, then I loaded my data to another Lakehouse. Don't worry, we are still going to do. And the good thing about Notebook here is that Notebook is a multi-language platform. It means that I can be writing PySpark on this part. And when I get to another section here, I can change it to Spark SQL. See, you see all the languages that you can write it. PySpark, Spark, Spark SQL, Spark R, even HTML, right? So it's very, very interesting. We are going to do that next week when we come. I'm going to send you an Excel file. We are going to ingest it inside of the Fabric environment. We are going to transform it. We are also going to load it, right? So I'm also going to show you quickly
Sorry,
some of
sir.
the, yeah.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, I just want to add this notebook here, is it the same thing as the Jupyter notebook?
It's not the same thing, but it's similar to the digital notebook. This one is like online notebook, and that one is like your
Oh,
on-prem notebook. Yes,
okay.
yes. No, so the good thing about this Fabric notebook is that I will tell you some differences. If we want to do some transformations inside of Jupyter notebook, we have to always import the library, right? But for this one, because Apache Spark is the engine at the back end of your Lakehouse. So there are some like your pandas, like your what do we call it? NumPy and all those basic ones. They are already pre-installed, or how will I even put it? Is it pre-installed or whatever inside of your Fabric notebook? But that does not mean that it's not all the libraries. So if you look at the one I just open now, you saw that I still had to probably install some libraries for me to be able to do some date transformations. Do you understand, sir?
Yes,
But
sir.
the ones like pandas, your NumPy, Matplotlib, and those ones already come with it.
Snowbeans.
Yes, because of the Apache Spark engine that is the one doing the big data processing at the back end of your lakehouse. Do you understand, sir? So
Yes, I
that Apache
understand what you're
Spark
saying.
integration, sorry?
I understand what you're saying, sir.
Yes, sir. So that Apache Spark integration is what is giving us that flexibility. Right? And the good thing is that it's a multi-language what's it called? It means that you can always change the language at different point in time, right? Depending on what you're comfortable. I've seen data engineers that tell me that some people that have experience of more than 7 years on the job, and they tell me that they don't even really use Python like that. That all their year of experience that's been SQL. They use SQL to do all their transformation and everything. So it depends on the individual. If you're comfortable with PySpark, use PySpark. If you're comfortable with Spark SQL, use Spark SQL. Do you understand? So
So,
the main thing is that you are transforming the data and it meets the business requirements. That's the thing. And you can also add your notebook as part of your pipelines for transformations, right? So let me just show you one of the pipelines I built. I have a pipeline here called pipeline 102. What did I do? I think I did copy data activity here, where I ingested data from, what is it, from Azure Data Lake Gen 2. My pipeline is loading. I think I have another pipeline like that. Let me open this one also. Okay. Yeah, so this is the pipeline interface here, right? You will see different activities, copy data, data flow, notebook, store procedure, and all of those things, right? You will see them here. What did I even do here? Seth? Let me check. Where's my source? Okay, I moved the data from Azure SQL database and I moved it to a lakehouse. Okay, that was what I did, right? Let me look at the second pipeline. What did I even do there? I think I have data flow and in my notebook inside of the pipeline. Oh, this one is empty. It is pipeline 103. Okay, let me check pipeline 103. Line 103. Oh my. Okay, this one I had my data flow and I had my notebook, right? So in this pipeline stuff, we are going to be exploring because I won't lie to you, this is where majority. Don't let me say that. Let me be careful. I'm going to say this is where most of the majority of the work that you will do in Fabric is, or when you are doing the AE or the DE stuff, right? So here we talk about parameters, variables. We'll talk about expressions, if condition for each. Guys, this is very interesting. I'm telling you, you will appreciate data more than just building report and dashboard, right? You see the way I think I scheduled my pipeline here. I scheduled my pipeline here. Okay, every 3 minutes. Yeah, the pipeline was run every 3 minutes. Yeah, I scheduled. And another thing is that you can even check the history of your pipelines, whether your pipeline is failing. You see it now, succeeded, fail, 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 fail. This is where you check the history of your pipeline to see if they're actually running as it should, or there's a problem somewhere. You need to go back and re-edit your flow. So we're going to be doing all those partitioning, and don't worry, come next week we have more details as per where we are going to. So guys, thank you for joining today's class. We come to the end of the class today. We are going to continue next week's Sunday. Make sure you come on time. We come early, we finish early. Some people came very late today. That's why we are just finishing the class now. We want it to be 1 hour straight, 7 to 8. So everybody can go and enjoy the rest
Okay.
of the day. Any questions so far before we go ahead, before we end the class? No, I think Temi is typing something. Okay, while she's typing that, Mr.
Sorry, I
Akinloye.
was typing and I thought it's just easier to ask my question.
Okay, please ask your question, please.
Are we going to get like, what is it? Is it a scheme of work, like a schedule, something like that?
Well, I don't just have like a schedule, sincerely.
Okay.
It'll just be like, it's like more of a class that is going to involve conversations because we have people that they're already DAs here that probably know SQL. Some people know Python. So it's more of like everybody's contributing together. So we
Okay.
just come today and say, okay, you know what? For the remaining 4 weeks, let's just be doing Lakehouse. After
Okay.
that, we can say let's move to warehouse. After we can say let's move to pipeline. So it will be that flow, but we don't have it like structured, like having like a
Okay.
timetable or something. No, we don't have that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And for fabric, is there like a free tier? Just like Power BI, is
That's
there
the
like a free
that's the
tier without?
challenge that we have here. I'm telling you,
Oh,
That's the challenge that we have here. But one thing I can do is that I can probably try to talk to Microsoft if they can provision us like a trial account,
yeah.
that probably we can all use or share among ourselves so that we can, because these things they actually need us to be able to practice them.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the only challenge that we have here. But I can, with my, I have an account where I can provision Power BI Premium, but you'll not be able to do Fabric stuff there. That's the only challenge. I can give you a premium
Yeah.
account for free, but we can't do Fabric stuff with that one. So, but I will find a way around it. I'll talk to people and I'll talk to Microsoft also if they can provision one for us. But if not,
It will
don't
be
worry.
difficult to like practice on Fabric if
Exactly.
we don't
That's the
even have
challenge.
access. It looks a bit like SSIS, especially with the data flow and stuff, but
Yes,
you still need
for
to,
yes, look for IS, it is the data flow, control flow,
yeah,
and all of those. But this one is more, I would say it's cloud, and I will just
yeah.
say, but I think your knowledge of SSIS and SSAS will really go a long way. Like it will really help.
Okay.
So you
Yeah,
you
but
will
we still need Fabric
yes,
access. Go, 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 go.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
is it very expensive? I mean, there are like 7 or 8 of us. If it's not too expensive, it's maybe something we can get a month of,
Oh well,
or
it's expensive. Oh. And look at the pricing now.
oh, I didn't see
It's
it.
expensive. See the different
Um,
pricing and capacity. But you know what? Let me talk to some people that are like my guys and see how we can go about it.
okay,
And see
thank
what
you.
how we can go about it. Because you are correct. People need to actually be able to practice this thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Okay. And please tell me, and for every other person on this call, please, I know most of us are coming from different backgrounds in terms of our knowledge. So I would appreciate contribution in this class. For example, I might not know SQL very well. You might know. Mr. Oke might be good with Python. He will contribute in Python. You will contribute in SQL. Coco might know Power BI more than every other person here. She might be able to contribute well. So I want the class to be very, very interactive. Let's all share let's argue, intelligent arguments. Let's all us contribute. So see you guys next week Sunday, where we will start talking about the Fabric Lakehouse. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.
It's not okay.